Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a fun little bit of their summer, which since it's coming to a close and we go back to school in less than a month. So I'm really excited about the speech we have to do for our last speech. I really am excited about my topic. It's on public prayer and how I think that it should be one of the main things that everybody does. I feel like prayer is really important in our lives as Christians, and I feel like if we do it in public, you never know who you can impact. So I feel like this is an awesome topic, and I'd like to start with reading you guys a little Bible verse out of my orange Bible. I actually opened it, and this is what I had marked some time ago, I guess, so I figured this is really appropriate. So it is coming from Hebrews 13:6, and it says, "So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" And I feel like this is really important. And if everybody could just keep it in mind while I'm going through my speech, because we're so scared of what people think of us now, but we don't realize that when we get up to heaven, what is God going to think if we didn't reach out to people and pray for them, no matter what the circumstances were? The Bible says, pray without ceasing. And this to me means if you're in public, if you're at home, if you're with a couple friends, if you're at work, wherever you are, I feel like you should pray if you feel the need to pray. I don't think you should be scared of what the people around you are going to think, because you never know who might need to see you praying in public and be like, oh, well, if they're doing it, I guess it's not so weird. Because people seem to put this awful connotation on praying in public. They like to think that, oh, there's that weird Christian person praying. Like, we need to make that, as Christians, we need to make that normal for everybody to see, and we need to share it with people. That's why we need to do it in public, so people can see, like, hey, praying with everybody isn't weird, it's normal. And especially praying at football games. I came across this article about this school, high school in Piedmont, is suspending praying before football games, and that really kind of irks me, just because it's the coaches don't say, hey, we're going to pray and this is what you're going to do. They the students and the athletes are like, hey, we'd like to go pray before, and the coaches don't have anything to do with it. Is the crazy thing. Like, my stepdad's a football coach, and the students who wanted to pray would go pray, and the students who didn't wouldn't. So it's not like, oh, well, they're making you pray. It's a majority of the students, they want to come together before their big game and give everything they do for the glory of God on the field. And I think that's awesome. It's a great influence for like the younger, like middle schoolers and elementary schoolers watching, that might help them grow in their faith. And so this anonymous lady sent in a letter saying that this praying in public violated her First Amendment right, which I just think is crazy, because the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, which means we can exercise our religion wherever we want. Like, you can't just say, oh, well, that offends me, so you can't do it. We're becoming more and more tolerant to anything else that happens, that whatever anybody wants, but we're not accepting Christians, which is the crazy thing. Our our founding fathers were Christians. They had the Christian faith, and now we're like, well, that was back then, not now. Which I think is a crazy argument, because if we were founded on this and it was such a great country, then we need to keep our founding fathers' ideas in mind. And they prayed, and now it's being taken out of things, and it's crazy because that's what we were founded on. And now they're like, well, times have changed. We're going to take it back, and anybody who says anything can do anything. So I really feel like this is just a time where we as Christians need to come together and pray. And I want to take a second to show you guys this picture. This is me and my friend Heidi while we were in Florida last week, and we got the opportunity to pray in the streets of Florida because we heard about something with, I can't remember, this lady had gone through something, and we got to stand in the streets of Florida and pray with her. And it wasn't a weird thing. Like, nobody was like, oh, they're standing in the streets holding hands and praying. Everybody was like, oh, like, they seem to really accept it. So I don't understand why people are like, don't pray in public, because we changed this lady's like day. I think she was really impacted by what we did, and I think people need to do more of that. Like, I'm a waitress, so I get all these little, like, 4 steps to friendship with God. I get all these little prayer cards because I work at a Christian restaurant. And so these people just leave these in my tip book. And I honestly appreciate these almost more than tips, just because there's little things in here that you wouldn't think that you needed to hear, but you do. And I feel like that's a form of prayer, pretty much, because there's little Bible verses in here. There's, as it talks about rebellion of the mind and how you can just bring it closer to God. And it says we need to obey His greatest commandment. And I feel like, to me, that's loving everyone. And Christians are loved by praying. So I feel like we all just need to put a stop to this whole banning public prayer thing, and we all just need to come together and give public praise if we want to rename it. Because sometimes prayer can be praise, and we just need to be thankful for what we have and what all God's done for us. So thank you guys for listening to my stance on public prayer, and I hope this can impact somebody, and everybody won't be afraid to pray in public. So thank you guys. Y'all have a great rest of your summer.